So have you ever said or heard that it's too cold to ride, there's salt on the road, it's too dangerous to ride in the winter season? I have, but my mindset has been changing over the last couple of years because we actually have some, like today, some pretty beautiful days to ride in. So why miss out on the fun? Today I have 5 tips to ride your motorcycle in the winter season. Let's go. So before we start, these tips are for you that wants to ride when the conditions are in some sort of normal. Cause riding in 1 meter of snow is a whole other talk. And these tips are for you that wants to ride on the pavement. And the first tip I'm going to cover in this video is obviously enough about warm gear. Cause the excuse that it is too cold is all about your clothes. First of all, start with a good pair of base layers underneath your normal clothes, and preferably in wool. And when it's really cold, I normally ride with my huge comfy warm one-piece suit, and normally it's actually enough with that and just my base layer, and then of course with my protection jacket inside. But today, when I have to look a little bit more civilized, I just layer up, and then to top it off with this nice warm pilot jacket with protection inside from resurgence. And the only place on your body that you don't want to freeze at is actually your hands. So therefore I have these huge winter gloves, and the most important thing is to find a pair of gloves that of course are warm, but you have this some sort of normal feeling with your hands, and you feel that you can control your bike almost as normal. Then remember to close off all gaps in your clothing where cold air can just penetrate your skin. And if you want to go all in, you can actually buy electronic heated gear and of course heated grips as well, but you can also buy these small pouches that you can put inside of your gloves and in your boots so you can stay warm while riding. Secondly, we are going to talk about the big elephant in the room, and that is of course salt. Cause salt is normally a very bad word to use in the same sentence as a motorcycle, but what is it actually? And just to be clear, everybody that lives in an area where they are using salt in the winter season will have their own very strong opinion about salt on a motorcycle. First of all, salt is the reason why you in the first place are able to ride on your motorcycle in the winter season. But if it's left untreated, salt can speed up the corrosion process potentially. And the reason why a motorcycle is a hot topic together with rust is because a motorcycle is much less protected and therefore much more exposed. And bare metal, in this case your motorcycle, together with water and oxygen will create corrosion. But what salt does is that it speeds up the process. Damn you physics. But the tip I have for you here is wash your bike every single time you have ridden in the winter season. And not just with only water, because salt can actually be much more stubborn than dirt, even though you can't see it. And in my personal opinion, it's all worth it. I'll gladly wash my bike in half an hour to an hour just to being able to ride. And salt can really sneak into places on your motorcycle you didn't even know existed. And I will also say it's more easier to do on a street bike like this because again, it's more exposed, but you don't have all these fairings cover up the engine, so you can really scrub it off nicely. And then remember to wipe it off, so if it's staying outside, there's no moist left on the motorcycle afterwards. So next up is about traction, because cold pavement and cold tires is normally not a good match. But there are some precautions you can take while riding in the winter season. First of all, reduce your speed and reduce your lean angle. Then you will be in a pretty good position to begin with. But of course, there are some other things that can complicate your ride. Try as best as you can to ride around wet spots in the road, because a thin layer of rain can very quick become to a thin layer of ice if the temperature is falling at the end of the day, and you won't be able to see that in forehand. If you get caught up in the rain while riding, then always take one of the dry lines that cars will make in front of you, and then the lines on the road, they will be slippy and they can even be slippery in the summertime, so just don't ride on them. And a little bonus tip here, if you don't want to ride onto the lines on the road, just simply don't look at them. Because your mind is built in a funny way, it will always try to follow the way your eyes are seeing. So if you just look at the pavement in between of the lines, you will hit that spot, and I promise you it will work 10 out of 10. The next tip that I'm going to cover today is that snow is a no-go, but also rain or black ice and so on. You simply don't have to ride if it's not necessary for you, of course, if the conditions are bad. Riding in 1 meter of snow requires a whole other skill set, and riding in pouring rain or a lot of -Celsius degrees is just not reasonable. But when that's said, we have so many beautiful days in the winter season. Just look at today. This shot is probably overexposed because the sun is just smashing my face right now, but it's perfect to ride in. It is at times like this that you should go out and try some winter adventures with your bike. Create those memories, and remember to prepare your trip, because you can't rely on what you can see out of your eyes, because the weather can change so quick here in the winter. It really sucks to get caught in the rain or in the snow for that matter when it's this cold. And if you do, just don't panic. Ride calmly and don't mind all the cars that are driving behind you, because they will probably feel with you. So don't think about them. Another great tip is to be visible, and not just only in the old-fashioned way with high-vis clothes, which can be a good idea, but what I actually mean by that is that cars driving in the winter season, because that's what we do, they are not expecting to meet a motorcycle on the road at this time of year. So personally, I actually like to drive with my long beam on, even though it's maybe not legal. But just remember, if you get behind a car, please turn it off so they don't get irritated by you. But when you're riding alone, please have it on. Also, because it's a lot darker in the winter season, it just makes you more visible. Use what you have. And of course, remember to have extended distance to the car in front of you, so you can brake calmly if anything happens. You don't want to get out in these panic situations. And then don't do anything risked or hastily, because cars are not expecting to see you. So never think I can just make it in time, or if I just speed up. Just play it safe, because remember, you are the small one in traffic. So that was my 5 tips for being more safe on a motorcycle in the winter season. And if you have any tips, please share them in the comments so we all can benefit from all these winter tips. And are you riding in the winter season? So don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you aren't already, and if you're new here, welcome. It is so nice to see you. The sun is getting down and I really want to go home now because temperature is falling, but it has been an awesome day to ride. See ya.